Yo, let me tell y'all about my kids. Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you about them. Now, they shallow. But before I talk about how shallow they is, the Lord showed me a mirror of myself and he said, you shallow too. You shallow too. But my kids aren't my biological kids. So when we first, started interacting, I was Mr. Bobby. And that's understandable. But after the mom and I got married, on occasions, the kids started to call me Dad. Made me feel good about myself, like I'm actually doing something. Until I started to see a pattern. Mr. Bobby said we gotta clean up. Dad, can I get some ice cream? Can I get some ice cream? Then it's, Mr. Bobby say we gotta study. Dad, can I go outside? Can I go outside? And then I'm thinking to myself, when they want something from me, I'm daddy. When I need something from them, Mr. Bobby. And this is the one that really killed me. I'm going downstairs, the garage is off to the side. I hear my little girl in there, she talking to a friend, and she say, isn't that your dad upstairs? That's the friend talking. And my daughter has the audacity. That ain't my daddy, he just paid the rent. Nah, she ain't say that, y'all, but I think she was thinking it. She had to be thinking it. But I wonder sometimes, like, how good life would be if my kids just listen. The same enthusiasm you use to say, Dad, let me get something, same enthusiasm you have when I ask for something. And of course, the mirror is shined again. What if I would just do like God said? I'm talking about rain, sleet, hail, snow, fire. I'm riding, no matter the weather. What if I did that? How good life could be. Today I want to talk about some riders in the Bible, We're going to come out of Daniel, chapter 3. A lot of y'all know the story. The 3 Hebrew boys, Nebuchadnezzar. But the way I tell this story is I'm going to tell it in parallels. So on this side, you're going to have the biblical, what they were actually trying to say, what they were getting across. And then on this side, you're going to have what I was thinking as I was reading. So it starts out as Nebuchadnezzar builds an image. And when he builds this image, he builds it largely enough that it can be seen from the middle of Dura. So that's where he places it. Come over to this side. You've got a kid. They call him Golden Gloves. He the state champ. He done won twice in a row. He a big dude, maybe 215. High school. He walked through, he sets a precedence. He hard. Swole. He swole. And he's like, hey, I'm the new honcho. Just like Nebuchadnezzar throws out this golden image like, this is what it is. Now, on this side, back into the biblical text, we have Nebuchadnezzar, and he says, I'm going to give you guys a signal. And this signal is going to be a bunch of instruments played together in symphony. Now, when you hear this signal, you will bow down and worship this golden image. So we hop back over to Golden Gloves. He walking through the hallways. You know how big dudes walk. Shoulders all rolled back. He looking at kids. And basically, he sets a signal. He's like, once that clock strikes 12, I want everybody walk past this locker and drop off your lunch money. He looks and makes sure it's understood. Hop back to the text. Now, the signal plays and everybody bows. And then there's this Chaldean, I think is how they pronounce it. And this is a type of people. So they're from a specific country. And they go up to Nebuchadnezzar, hey, Ned. There was 3 Hebrew boys, and they ain't bow. Straight like that, you know, they were snitching high profile. High profile. We come back over to our side. We don't got Chaldeans, we got weak genes, no spine. He walking over, all feeble and whatnot, and golden gloves. Didn't bow, AKA didn't pay. And now you have to imagine Nebuchadnezzar was a little upset when he heard this news. Golden gloves, a little upset when he hears the news. So we hop back to the text. What happens from here is that Nebuchadnezzar confronts the three Hebrew boys, and he's like signifying a push. So it's like when you get ready to fight, you know, you gotta push them, show them that you're serious, show them that, hey, I ain't no chump. You setting the precedence. So he says, I've been informed that you all heard the signal, saw everybody else bowing, and decided to do y'all's own thing. Now, I'm the king. You go against me, ain't nobody gonna save you. So bow when you hear the signal, or else. Hop back over to the school. Golden Gloves walks up to the kid. Kid's name is Slim Jim Too Thin. Looking at him like, what you think you special? Everybody else walked past the locker paid up. What's good with you? And now he's looking at him like, you know I'm 215, homie. You ain't nothing but a $1.15. $1.30 if that. I will, you know what I'm saying? So ain't nobody really out here a Golden Gloves champ but me. So who gonna help you? So I mean, I'm about to look at my watch. And when I look at it, I'm gonna need you to come off that bread. And then we get back. So this what I thought was like the hardest scene. And I'm acting like it's a movie as I'm reading it. You know, I was engaged at this point. I'm like, what he gonna do? What they gonna do? And then the three Hebrew boys, man, I wish I would have memorized this part. But it goes something along the lines. You know, I paraphrase as I get through it, but I leave the scripture for you. And it goes along the lines where it says, well, our God is able to deliver. And he will deliver us from your hands. But even if he doesn't, let it be known, we do not bow to your gods, and we will not worship this image. Oh, I can only imagine Nebuchadnezzar at this point. We hop back. You got Slim Jim Too Thin looking at Buddy like, whom? He push him back. But Buddy about this big, he got twiggy arms, but he put his chest into it. He like, hey, win, lose, or draw, I don't really know or care who you is. But this, my mama gave me this. My pops gave me this, and you ain't just gonna take it. So we can fight, you know what I'm saying? We can scrap. But let it be known, I ain't the one. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, this is where I think everything just gets more interesting. It is at this point where they have pushed one another. They have shown off their level of, you know, enthusiasm towards the fight. Like I'm really in it, and I want you all to be in it as well. Because we've all had to fight somebody a little bit bigger once. And you know what it felt like to get pushed by that dude or that female. And to be like, tell you let out that breath like, whew, I don't care how it's going. We finna scrap. So this is what goes down. So we get back to it. Nebuchadnezzar is furious. He gets some of his best men. It says that these are men of valor. And he's like, yo, get these guys in the fire now. I'm talking bind them up, get them in there, and he's moving them fast. Like the scripture says, like he's speaking towards hastily, like he's getting it done so quickly that the people that's throwing them in the fire, catch on fire themselves, moving so quick. So once we get back to the school, you got Golden Gloves and he's heated, furious. He grabs the dude, he moving so fast, he throws him into the locker. But he moving so quick, he ain't got much technique because he's so upset that he splits his fist open and then fractures his wrist. This is his meat and potatoes, this is money. But he done, boom, throwing it out because he's moving in a haste. And then what happens after this is that Nebuchadnezzar realizes that he threw these boys in bound, but they ended up walking around. He's like, wait a minute. I threw them in bound, and I know it was just 3, but now they're walking around, and there's a 4th figure, and this figure looks like the Son of Man. So down, if you got a physical Bible, in the footnotes it says the Son of Man is like a translation of a angel. This is a figure that is not of the natural. He sees this. They walking around. This looks like in the school, Slim Jim Too Thin is 115 pounds, should be curled up in the fetal position, taking a beating. But what it looks like instead is, he ain't even really hitting nothing, but he throwing hands. And they're like, the guy Golden Gloves is like, yo, what's going on? Like, this kid is mad small, and I'm huge, just wailing on this guy. Boom, like a big old gorilla. Kid is, he eating them, slipping, throwing punches back. He's walking around when everybody else, thinks he should be curled up, or when he initially went into the bout, he was what they expected, curled up. So now, I want to take a pause. And I want to use this as a teaching moment, because it taught to me as I was, being ministered to by the Spirit as I'm reading, and I'm thinking in the highest levels that I can think of, just like spirituality. What is this really trying to say? And I hear so many times, you don't look like what you've been through. And I received some insight when I was reading, and the insight I received was, we don't look like what we went through, because what we went through ain't what it looked like. And I'm going to provide a little more insight on that. So don't feel like I'm going to leave y'all hanging right there. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that when the Hebrew boys came walking out, the bystanders said that their clothes were not, all burnt up. They didn't smell like smoke, and their hair and stuff wasn't all singed up. So if you get back to the school, after the fight is all over, everything is done, this little kid that was, getting beat up on doesn't come out to fight, looking like, oh my goodness, wiping tears away. He comes out, wiping blood off himself, cleaning himself up, wiping stuff off his hair, breathing. He don't look like a kid that got boom, 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 pounded on, pummeled on, just beat up. He looked different. He looks like not what he had experienced. And the reason is that the 3 Hebrew boys were not just sitting there. It says that when he looked into the fire, they were walking around, and they were in the presence or in the company of God. There was an angel there. And what I'm receiving is, as long as God was there and as long as they were in the fire, they were going to move. They were going to do what they had to do, no matter what the atmosphere or the surroundings were. So if we take it back to the school, wimpy kid is, he's slipping, he dodging. And in his mind, he's like, you're not going to take what I got. As long as I got the impression of my mom saying, I gave you that. I work hard for that. Slip. He doing his thing. He ain't just laying there. He's moving. And as long as he got fight in his heart, he is moving. So what's actually happening here is this kid is having an encounter with himself. He is having an encounter with the part of him that says, you are a fighter. You know who your mother is, you know who your father is, and you're not going to let nobody just take what's yours. When it all was said and done, his faith had been increased. The 3 Hebrew boys, when it was all said and done, they had had an encounter and had been increased. So when they walked out, they didn't look like what they had went through. Because what they went through was not a burning. What the kid went through was not a pummeling fest. It was an increase in faith. It was an increase in understanding of who he was. It was an increase, and that is what Golden Gloves saw. That's what Nebuchadnezzar saw. Nebuchadnezzar is like, man, I can leave them in the fire, but it doesn't look like anything is working. So then you see Golden Gloves throwing punches, fractured wrists. He's like, I can keep pounding this kid, but it doesn't look like anything is working. My arm, my wrist is going to give out before his heart does. So I was moved by that. That perception is important. So when you're going through something and they say, man, you don't look like what you've been through, it's because what you was going through ain't what it looked like. I was blessed by that, so I had to share that with y'all. But let's get back to the text. So now I want to talk about God getting the glory. So this is the part where I declare, you can find me in the fire. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is that Nebuchadnezzar ends up telling the 3 Hebrew boys to come out. And once they come out, things have changed. Sometimes we can find ourselves on a job, working for a boss, and we're just like, man, this guy or this girl is so nasty, you know what I'm saying? Or we can be like, they're so mean and all these other things going on, and we can't really figure them out. And we want promotions, but they're giving them to somebody else, and it's just so much going on. And we're looking for God. We're looking for a sign. And after reading this, what really resonated in my spirit was that sometimes we're looking in the wrong places. What we're looking for can be found in the fire. So I want to use this segment to talk about motives. So let's say the only way to change your boss's heart, to get this elevation, this promotion that you want, to get these people off your back, is for God to say to you, so I can do it. But in order for me to do it, you're going to have to go through some things. And what you go through may even look like it's going to destroy you, but hey, you got to go through it. Most of us who are in it for ourselves, or if we're saying, yo, I want the boss off my back so that I can just breathe a little. I want these people to stop, judging and criticizing me all the time because I don't do it to them. I just want this promotion because I work hard. All of these I statements. God asks us to say, do all of this, and we say, for the boss? You want me to put myself through all of this for them? Oh, no, yeah. I look to the hills from which cometh my help. You've been there today, you'll be there tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And I think I can keep on pushing. You know what? I'll retire in a few years anyway. I done dealt with it this long. It starts to become it doesn't really matter that much once you have to endure on behalf of somebody else. But let's take it from a different motive and a different perspective. Same scenario, but God says to you the same thing. You must endure. If you want me to come in, elevate you, you want me to change their heart, you want me to get them off your back. Now, I might do it, might not. But I can do it. I'm able to do it. And your response is, not my will, but thy will. My desire is your desire. And if you want to use me, Father, use me. I will stand in the fire. If I am to suffer for thy name's sake, I am honored to do so. See, this mentality is very different. And then you endure. You go through the fire. You taking L's. You taking W's. You walking side by side with an angel of the Lord, getting through based off of your motives. Because your motives are God's motives and not your own. And when we see this, if God does the same for you that he did for the 3 Hebrews, this is kind of what it looks like. So after it was all said and done, Nebuchadnezzar says, hey, everybody turn away from your gods. We doing things this way. Because I ain't never, in all my life ever, seen a God deliver like this. Oh, and by the way, I want you guys to know that anybody that trespasses against this will have their homes burned down. So basically, you got beef with them and their God, you got beef with me. And on top of it all, I'm a promoter. So what this looks like for you, if you endure with proper motive, giving your will to the will of God, it looks a little bit like the same people that was antagonizing you, all on you, these 3 men of valor, are the same ones that get burnt up in the atmosphere they were trying to use to burn you up. This is how it begins. And then furthermore, the same boss that sent them to destroy you is the same boss that says, well, my, you have endured some things. The way you do things is, it's special. You know what? We're not going to do it my way no more. We're going to do it your way. Oh, and by the way, anybody who got a problem with this one got a problem with me. And then, on top of it all, yo, that corner office, that's yours. Promotion well deserved. In the fire. So, on that note, this is where I declare, you can find me in the fire. If you're looking for me, follow the smoke. Because that's where I'm at. Fighting for what's mine. Fighting on the behalf of those who don't know they doing the wrong thing. And I'm sorry, but my God take care of his own. So if you're working on my downfall and you get burnt up in the process, don't blame me. Because I'm just doing what I feel is right. Hebrew boys went out for themselves. They stood on principle. They stood on what was right. And they didn't budge. And on that note, bless and be blessed, y'all.